had the governor of the Celtics on Friday. It was excellent. Went around the world over the weekend with Wyc Grousbeck, and he said that he doesn't envision any team going into the second apron, given the new penalties that have been implemented by the collective bargaining agreement that just started. That you're going to lose the ability to add players using the mid-level exemption. You're going to be unable to trade draft picks. And I say, fine. Keep this team as it is as long as possible and just pay the tax. You're not going to ever be this good again. Don't do what the Patriots did, which is squander years where you have the coach and the quarterback together. Utilize Jalen and Jason. And if Porzingis and others are, in and out, whatever. But that's not an excuse to me. And it's the latest and greatest example of owners unanimously ratifying an agreement that penalizes winning by saying we can't spend, then bitching about it. If you give yourself a budget and then don't go over it, you could still be cheap. It's just you keeping yourself to a budget. It's just their money. And I don't find these rules to be nearly as difficult to overcome as was insinuated on the interview on Friday. I do think there will be teams in the next 10, 15 years that will be in the second apron for a prolonged period of time, and no team better exemplifies one that should do it than the Celtics.
Well, and I heard you guys talking a little bit about this on Saturday, but the intent to create, you and Ken were arguing about whether the intent to create parity is working for the NBA. And Ken's argument was he took it geographically, because he was basically saying that OKC being in it was indicative of the fact that teams that weren't in big markets could compete, basically, Curtis.
Right, but I think, God love Ken, I don't think they taught parity at Northeastern, because if you're really good, you can stay really good. In the NFL, the goal was to, the salary cap was initially imposed to prevent dynasties. And just like in the NBA, if you have a great quarterback in the NFL, you overcome all that. And in the NBA, you're basically, half the league has no shot before the first basketball is in the air. So that means there isn't parity from my point of view.
Yeah, I agree with you. The parity thing, there's really no parity. We know kind of the teams coming into the season. And I think with OKC, they just hit on their players. Like you look at teams that are kind of constantly in the lottery with a team like New Orleans versus OKC. Your superstar in SGA, you hit on him.
Right.
And that's kind of what has turned things around. And remember, they hit on KD and Russell Westbrook and James Harden, so they kind of had a little bit. And then obviously those guys ended up going out elsewhere, trading guys away, and then they hit a little bit of a bump in the road. But now they've hit on SGA.
That's kind of like the dynastic argument, is that everybody uses Golden State and says you can't keep it going forever, and you eventually have to trade guys away.
And I would say Oklahoma City is like the Oakland Athletics. Like you'll always have really smart teams with really good GMs that pop up from time to time and overcome other different challenges.
And there's also an element of luck to it. Like the SGA thing, they got him from the Clippers. Nobody knew he was going to be this when he was on the Clippers.
Right.
People thought he was good, but people didn't think he could be MVP of the league good.
And I think with Golden State, that broke up because of the relationship with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green more than anything. Like they could have kept that thing together, but because of the relationships was so sully between them two, I think that's kind of why that broke up. It's the same with the Lakers in the Kobe and Shaq era.
Right.
If you can get guys to be able to play together and be able to not go at each other's throats or feel like, oh, I should be the guy, I'm not the guy. If you can get the coach to get those guys to kind of buy in, you can keep those guys around and build something special.
And Curtis, don't forget the league created parity for the Lakers this season by orchestrating a trade.
That they did.
Don't forget that part of it.
They did.
Yeah.
And then LeBron got hurt, and now it's kind of like, the league wasn't expecting that one.
They're still going to be in the finals.
There's no way.
Well, I wonder who's playing third on Friday.
Who's playing third on Friday?
He's saying that our Rafi Devers.
Oh, yeah.
Take.
Maybe it is Bregman. You'd be right about that one.
There you go. Keep
Are
it a
you
buck.
still maybe on? Ralphie Devers.
Is he hurt?
He hasn't fielded a single ground ball at third base during spring training.
Oh, hey, Ralphie.
Are you still? Do you still think it's possible that?
Yeah, I still think he's going to play third base this year.
Friday, you think he'll be at?
Is he healthy? Are they saying he's healthy?
Well,
and ready to go?
That's a loaded question. That is a loaded question.
I mean, I think if he's healthy and ready to go, I think he's playing third base.
You do? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.